Every successful organization begins with its people. At Incredible Workplaces, we help you build workplaces that inspire, engage, and endure. Recognition starts with certification. Our globally benchmarked evaluation celebrates organizations that foster engagement, inclusivity, and innovation. Certification is more than a badge. It's proof that your culture empowers people to excel. Through consulting, we partner with organizations to transform cultures, strengthen leadership, and build workplaces that adapt, innovate, and thrive. Your story deserves to be heard. With our employer branding solutions, we showcase your culture through featured videos, exclusive events, and media spotlights, ensuring you attract and retain top talent with pride. From recognition to transformation and employer branding, our services create workplaces that inspire people and elevate businesses. Are you ready to transform your workplace into a beacon of excellence? Partner with Incredible Workplaces today.
Thanks a lot, Incredible Workplace, for this recognition. Thank you.
Proud to be Incredible Workplaces.
I'm proud to share that MB Informatics has been certified as an Incredible Workplace.
Feeling proud to be recognized as Incredible Workplace certified.
Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's webinar hosted by Incredible Workplaces on a topic that is extremely important for every organization, the new labor laws. I'm Vibha Rawat, Vice President, People and Culture at Incredible Workplaces, and your host for this session. We are delighted to see such an overwhelming response and participation from HR leaders, business heads, entrepreneurs, and professionals from across India. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Before we move into today's agenda, it is my pleasure to invite someone whose vision and leadership has been instrumental in building incredible workplaces into a powerful platform for workplace excellence. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Govind Negi, CEO and founder of Incredible Workplaces, to share a brief presentation about IWP. Govind, over to you for a quick introduction to Incredible Workplace.
Thank you very much, Vibha. And I'm sure everybody is equally excited about this opportunity to talk about what has changed in labor laws and how things are moving forward. But as Incredible Workplaces is the host of this event, I will take the liberty to tell the audience about what is Incredible Workplaces and what do we do in a very short presentation that we have. So for that, I'm going to share my screen. Hope you all can view that. Can somebody just confirm me? Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you very much. So Incredible Workplaces is an organization that is aiming to provide an exceptional work culture for organization. And this is the aim that we are targeting at this point in time. And before I start, let me just come to some of the facts that we have taken from Harvard Business Review. And it says highly engaged employees are 84% less likely to leave, which means that you will have people who are really engaged, not necessarily happy, but really engaged in your organization. And when you have engaged employees and you also have a very strong performance culture, basically your revenue growth goes to 2.5x higher. Now, that is precisely the reason why Incredible Workplaces is so sought out in the market at this point in time, where we are helping organizations to build their organization work culture. Well, talking about Incredible Workplaces, in our edition 1, we had 150 plus organizations that are already certified today and proudly holding the badge. And you can see some of the names that are mentioned here: Subway, Spark, Minda, VBDN Club, Club Dental, Swiss Beauty, Apollo. There are many such organizations that are holding that badge of Incredible Workplaces. We are not only in India, but we are also active in Costa Rica since July 1st, 2025. Now, you must be wondering, what does Incredible Workplace do? So there are basically three things that Incredible Workplaces is into. One is recognition, second is transformation, third is employer branding. Well, talking about first of the service that we do, which is basically recognition, where we do assessment of organization on their work culture, and we also certify them. To do so, we have a Pulse framework, which we are using. It is our own proprietorship. There are 5 key elements, as you can see on the screen, that we use for assessing organizations on their work culture. And if any organization achieve a minimum 70% of Pulse index, we certified those organizations. Now, about our certification program, any organization in any industry or sector can definitely apply. You can be a startup, you can be a big organization, an NGO, school, college, corporate, government organization. Anyone can participate in the certification program, provided they have minimum 20 employees on their roll. And the certificate is renewed every year on annual basis. On the bottom, you can see how we have organized organizations on the basis of number of employees that we have. Now, I'm sure many of you are already aware about the benefit of such certification, but let me quickly take you through that. Once you are certified by Incredible Workplaces, you can showcase yourself as the employer of the choice to the outside world, which means a great opportunity for you to brand yourself. You will also be able to attract talent from outside, because nowadays candidates are looking forward for certification like Incredible Workplaces before they join the organization. It also helps you to retain your employees. And the most important one, we also support organization through our continuous improvement plan, where we build the community of all the Incredible Workplace certified organizations, write blogs, share with them, call them to the exclusive event, and we also do some featured video with them. Now, let's talk about the commercial. Looking at the left-hand side, you see the different sized of organization from small to mega size. And on the right-hand side, you can see the cost that we have for assessments. And if any organization is looking for a detailed report, the report cost is also mentioned here. This is the glimpse or bird eye view of how the report looks like when we share you the results of the employee survey. Now, if you are interested to join Incredible Workplaces and apply for this assessment, how does this work? This process is very simple. You need to go to our website and click on the Apply Now button. Once you apply, we send you 2 forms. One is the Pulse audit form that is filled by the HR department. And we also do an employee Pulse survey where it goes to all the employees in the organization. It is an anonymous survey where employees are filling this survey, and we need 70% of the participation from the organization total headcount. When your aggregate score is, as I said, 70% and above, you will be certified and you get a certification, also a branding kit. And if you need a report from our side, that is also possible. Well, these are the questions that we basically ask HR to share their inputs on. Also, here are 50 questions that goes to the employee, and these are the objective type questions. They need to answer from 1 to 5. Total 50 questions. 1 question is on ENPS. There are some subjective type questions and demographical questions as well. Once you are certified, you get a badge like this, as you see on your screen. This badge is given where you can see the country in which your organization is and the tenure for which you are certified. Once you're certified, you get this kind of certification. You can have multiple copies of it and you can put it on your multiple branch if you want to. These are the social media announcements, how we do it. Once you are certified, your name will also come to our website. A listing will come so that there's authenticity that people can check. How we are different from others. One, we are using a Pulse Index framework as opposed to any other framework. We are comparatively very fast and action oriented. Our services are value for money, especially for mid-sized organizations and organizations that are growing. We also work with the HR department to have a look at their own survey. And in case there's a need to have a tailor-made solution, we are more than happy to do so. We work closely with the organizations to brand themselves in outside market. And the most important, we believe in a long-term partnership with our certified organization. Once you're certified, you get a branding kit and you can use and you can proudly on the badge, as you can see in this picture. This is a glimpse of an organization putting the badge in different merchandise. These are the office branding templates that we have. Some examples where organizations are already using it. Office celebrations happening across the organization who are certified. Town hall where people are announcing about them being incredible workplaces. More example of the town hall and celebrations once they are certified. More such examples. We also do featured video. For the interest of time, I will skip it for now. But in simple words, we are basically going to organization and featuring them on our different platforms so that the world can see you being an incredible workplace. So I'll skip now. In the interest of time, this is another featured video. You can also use this badge on your email signature. These are the examples of how other organizations are using it currently in their email signature. Not only internally, but also externally, organizations are using these badges. The second service we have is the consulting service. In short, we are basically solving all your talent-related challenges. So if you have any challenge, starting from employee engagement survey to audit the work culture, leadership development, employee engagement, all different kind of areas, our clients are coming to us, sharing the problem with us, and we as Incredible Workplaces helping them to solve these problems through our consulting wing. Similarly, our third and the last service is employer branding, and we are helping organizations in all these ways to brand themselves. The good news is this particular service is going and our existing clientele is leveraging all these services without any cost at this point in time. So if you are a Incredible Workplace certified organization, this particular service comes to you by default as part of your certification. Well, that's pretty much all. We do 2 times award in a year, once in April in Delhi and on second time in September in Bangalore. So the last one was in September this year in Bangalore, and the other one is coming up in April 2026 in Delhi. So stay tuned for that. That's all from my side. Let's create incredible workplaces. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening in, and over to you, Viva.
Thank you, Govind. And before we move on to our topic, you see a QR code on the screen. If you're interested in getting your organization recognized as Incredible Workplace Certified, please scan and apply for the certification. In case you find difficult in scanning it, you can visit the website, which is incredibleworkplaces.com. And on the right and top side, you will see a apply now button. Through that, you can apply for certification. For any further queries, our team would be available and we'll connect with you. All right. Thank you so much, Govind, for sharing those insights and for giving a broader perspective on the mission and the impact Incredible Workplaces is creating in the organizations. With that, now let's move into the core agenda of today's session, which is understanding the recent changes in the new labor laws and their implication for organizations and HR teams. Today, we have 2 highly respected industry experts with us, both of whom bring decades of experience, practical knowledge, and deep compliance expertise. Our first speaker is Mr. Gaurav Chaturvedi. He brings 26 years of diverse experience. Gaurav has a deep expertise in learning and competency development, performance management, labor law audits, employee engagement, and IR practices. He has played key roles in HR strategy for startups, mergers, and organization transformation, and is well known for mentoring and developing HR talent across industries. We are honored to have you with us today, Gaurav.
Thank you so much, Vibha, and thank you so much, Govind, as well as Incredible Workplaces. It will be wrong to say me as expert. I normally introduce myself as a student of HR with almost 26 years of schooling now. So let's uh, let's be have this session today, and let's talk about labor codes. And I'm pretty sure that by the end of this session, we'll be able to be more knowledgeable about labor codes that we have been discussing for last almost 2-3 weeks now. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Gaurav. Our next speaker is Mr. Ravinder Singh, who brings over 29 years of rich experience in strategic HR, payroll operation, process automation, employee lifecycle management, and compliance. His expertise across startup mergers, acquisition, policy development, and coaching HR professional has made him highly trusted advisor in the HR community. We are privileged to have you with us today, Ravinder.
Thank you, Vibhav and Govindji, for giving us this platform. Looking forward to have a fruitful interaction with you, and I will try to share as much knowledge we can, and let's explore more. It's a continuous learning process.
Thank you, Ravinder. I'll now hand over the session to our experts, Ravinder and Gaurav, who will take us through a focused presentation on the recent changes in the labor laws, their organization impacts, and what HR team must prepare for. But here, it's not the end, right? After they are done with the presentation, we have a good enough time to take the questions. So you can keep posting your question in the comment section and listen to what our experts have to say about the new changes in the labor law. So I'll bring it back to you, Mr. Gaurav and Ravinder.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vibha. Okay, so we will be having a short presentation, and our endeavor is that we'll take you through whatever changes, important changes, I would say, because it's a huge Pandora box, 4 codes put together by the government. So we will be sharing few changes which are impacting us on day-to-day basis, and there's an analysis that we have done. So there are 4 codes, and these 4 codes are where 29 acts, labor acts, have been put together in 4 codes. So the codes, the code on wages, the code on social security, the industrial relationship code, and the occupational safety, health, and working conditions code. These are 4 codes, and if we see under each code, there are certain old codes which have been put together. So, meaning 4 codes here in Code of Wages, similarly 9 codes in Social Security Code, 3 acts have been put in the Code of IR, and occupational safety, there are 13 acts which have been put together. Now, whenever there is a code or there's a new act, these acts, the central government has come with the codes. They were enacted or notified on 21st of November. However, the process is that every, meaning the central government as well as each state, has to come up with draft rules, and they have to notify rules. So, can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Okay. So, out of the 36 states, there are 30 states which have already come up with draft rule. This was as on 21st November, because if you see, these codes started coming in 2019, and the other lot came in 2020. So 1920 these acts, codes were notified. Thereafter, 30 states have already given draft rules. However, after 21st November, we expect all states to either vet their own draft rules, they can notify the same, or they can come up with some certain changes and again notify those. So after these 36 states current status on the draft rules, I think we will be able to have all these notified in maybe next 1 to 2 months. That is what we are expecting. However, it is yet to happen. So in Code of Wages, 4 acts are Minimum Wages Act, Payment Wages Act, Payment of Bonus Act, and Equal Remuneration Act. These 4 acts have been put together, and the very important thing which we need to understand, as I said, it's a Pandora box. However, if we only look at to the very important aspects, because of the paucity of time, we'll just focus on this. So the definition of worker, I think, covers any person except an apprentice who is employed in any industry to do any manual, unskilled, skilled, technical, occupation, operational or clerical or supervisory role. Now, this entirely includes employee definition, meaning the worker definition is included. It's a subset of employee definition. And in the employee definition, if we see skills, semi-skilled, unskilled, manual, operational, supervisory, managerial, administrative, technical or clerical work, everybody is included in employees definition. It covers all type of employees and workers irrespective of role, level, nature, duty, salaries. However, if we go to worker, the supervisors with salary of 15,000 per month or more will be excluded. And the most talked about, the most debated, and the most important aspect of these new labor code is the definition of wages. Now, previously, the definition of wages, and I must compliment government on this, that whenever we all, I think, all HR professionals have talked about it, that the definition of wages is different in payment of wages, it is different in minimum wages, it is different in PF Act, it is different in ESIC Act, you go to Gratuity Act, it is different, you go to Bonus Act, it is. So there has been changes in the definition of wages as per the Act. But after this code of wages, the definition of wages is going to be standardized for all acts. So now on, we should talk only one word, that wages. What are the wages? So wages means all remuneration, including salaries, allowances or otherwise, payable to a person for employment of work done in such employment, and it includes basic pay, DA and retaining allowance, but it does not include. So the most important part is it does not include. So if we go to A to I, A is bonus, any statutory bonus, then value of house accommodation, supply of life, water, medical attendant, or any amenity given by employer, the cash value of it. Again, it is excluded. Any contribution paid to by the employer to any pension or provident fund. So that means PF, EPF, EPS, NPS for that matter. Any conveyance allowance or the value of traveling concessions, it will also be excluded. Any sum paid to the employee to defray special expenses by the nature of his employment. Now, many times it is being confused, because I have been talking to various HR professionals for last 15-20 days, and people are confusing it with the special allowance. No, it is not the special allowance. It is sum paid to defray special expenses. For example, somebody working in a mine underground. So if the company is giving some allowance for working underground, that is this particular special expenses. It is not that a balancing figure we give as a special allowance and we say that, oh, it is excluded. No, it is not. The special allowance generally used by the industry is not excluded there. Then HRA. Now, HRA is excluded out of wages. In PF, it was already there. When we used to calculate PF wages, it was already excluded. HRA was, but in rest of the wages, it was included. Minimum wages or other wages for that matter, it was included. So now it is excluded. Remuneration payable under the any award or settlement or order of the court or tribunal. So any settlement, your LTS, your court order or tribunal order, then it is excluded. Overtime is excluded. Very simple for everybody to understand. Overtime, I would not speak more on it. Then commission payable to employees, it is also excluded. Now, these are A to I. These are the 9 exclusions. The value of these exclusions should be less than 50% of the total salary or total remuneration being paid. If it is more than 50%, then the additional amount gets added to the wages, definition of wages. So now onwards, we will focus on wages and we will calculate gratuity on wages, we will calculate earned leave on wages, we will calculate bonus on wages, we will pay PF on wages, we will pay ESIC on bonus wages. So this term wages after the exclusions are to be, as the name says, excluded. The remaining portion is wages, but mind you, the exclusions should be less than 50%. So the general perception is that basic is going to be 50%. No, the exclusions are to be lesser than 50%. That should be the focus. In terms, basic can be 50%, can be more than 50% also. Okay, and then J&K is the gratuity payable on the termination of employment and any retrenchment compensation or other retrenchment benefit or any ex gratia payment, retire benefits, those will also be excluded. And as I told, 50%, it should be less than 50%. Exclusion should be less than 50%. And any remuneration you are giving in kind. For example, you are giving anything which is not cash, has to be less than 15%. Next.
So
yeah,
here the important piece is we have to focus how to control our excluded allowances. Instead of talking about my basic is 50% or more, we have to control our excluded allowance, and at the same time we have to keep in mind that anything we are paying in kind, including like meal vouchers, etc., those things will also will also form the part of wages. So we have to keep more exclusions, track on the exclusion rather than basic. Basic is automatically the second remaining part of the total wages.
Yeah.
A very good question, Pallavi. Somebody has asked that can you please brief if total wages also include HRA?
Yes, total wages, HRA will, in the total wages, yes, it is included in the total wages. However, it is part of the exclusion, so it will be not a part of the wages.
It will be a part of the total remuneration, in fact. Salary means, if you read out the first line itself, all remuneration, including salary, allowances, or otherwise. So these part are the otherwise, other actions.
Next.
And Ashish, look forward to some details about special allowance into this.
Yes. So this will be clarified in our next slide when we show the compensation structure. This will be addressed there. We are coming on that. So other changes in the code of wages are minimum wages, payment of bonus, and payment of wages. So in the minimum wages, the government is coming up with a national floor wage, wherein they will come up with like in the central still there are zone A, B, and C. Like state capitals, they have the highest rate, then other major cities, and third is the remaining cities. So that's how they may come up similarly in that fashion. They will distribute the entire India in that 3 zones, and accordingly all these states, they have to notify their own minimum wages either at par or more. They cannot reduce the minimum wage from what has been defined as national floor wage. Then in the bonus head, they have added disqualification due to if someone is dismissed or terminated on account of sexual harassment. So they have added that disqualification under the Payment of Bonus Act. Earlier there was, similarly in gratuity, they were having, moral turpitude, some financial integrity issues or irregularities. Other than that, disqualification is, they have added the sexual harassment in the disqualification parameters. Then next is payment of wages. The limit of 24,000, which was earlier remaining, this has been removed. Now everyone, all set of employees on board, they will be treated as employees. So that anomaly they also removed here. Next, gender discrimination. This they have actually tried to bring women at par, giving them liberty to work during night shifts also, and no discrimination in hiring in wages as well. Final important piece is full and final settlement. Most of the people, they get confused here. Full and finals to be made within 2 working days of leaving. But if you read out section 17(2), it is written as where an employee has been removed, dismissed, or retrenched, or has resigned from services or become unemployed due to closure of establishment, the wages payable to him shall be paid within 2 working days. So mind it, law is
Ravinder, you are not audible.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So in the sectors section 17.2 of code on wages, the law says that you have to pay the wages within 2 working days of the last working day, right? Relieving day. So they are not saying to release the full and final settlement within 2 days. So wages I can pay because these are the salary related part. But remaining some reimbursement, some other things, if they are required to be paid, they may be paid at a later stage, maybe with the next monthly payroll cycle, including gratuity. Gratuity, there is no change in the act. They say you have to pay the gratuity within 30 days. They do not say that you have to pay the gratuity within 2 days time. So that's important to understand here.
And this is again one of the most talked about point. And believe me, 90% of the HR professionals I have spoken in last 15-20 days, they are worried on this point only. Yeah, full and final settlement will have to be done in 2 days. This is not the truth. Full and final settlement also includes gratuity. There is no change in the Gratuity Act, so gratuity can still be paid in 30 days. So as Ravinder has quoted, the government has written, or the code says, that wages they will be paid within 2 days. Previously also, in the case of any termination, the wages had to be paid within 2 days only. So here they have included every kind of exit. That is the change they have done. Next.
So the question of adding special allowance and what allowance I should add in the wages or what not, what should be the part of excluded allowance. So here we have taken 3 examples. Let's say company A, they are paying 15,000 rupees as CTC, which is commonly known in the current industry, right? Company B, they pay similarly CTC as 15,000. Company C, they are paying 66,200 rupees. So they have bifurcated the entire structure as basic, HRE, conveyance, special, commission, LTA, or EPF. Like EPF now they are added in the excluded allowance. So we are taking here. So let's say in company A, the basic salary is 8,000, HRA 4,000, conveyance is 3,000. So entire makes 15,000. So HRA and conveyance, they have been notified as exclusions. So only component remains is basic salary. So that means I have to take the basic salary as my wage according to the new law. Let's talk about the company B. They have, salary 6,000 rupees as basic salary and 3,000 as special allowance. HRA and conveyance we are excluding. So 6 and 9 makes 9,000. 6 and 3 makes 9,000 rupees as wage as per new code. 3 conveyance and HRA we are excluding here. Illustration C, company C, we are saying basic salary is 20,000, HRA 10,000, 6,000 is the conveyance, 23 is special. So we are blue color and we are taking as the wage, right? So 20,000 plus 23,000 is special, 3,000 LTA, because we are not paying as a reimbursement, we are paying it as a regular basis in the salary, right? So anything we are paying as a regular component which has not been excluded in the code on wages, that forms the part of wages, right? So here 20 plus 23 plus 3,000 LTA, that makes total 46,000. That will become a wage for PF, ESI, bonus, gratuity, leave encashment, everything, right? So our recommendation in the bottom we have written specially that any in this considering the code on wages provisions, the ideal situation would be we have to cap our excluded allowance in the range of 40 to 45%, so that you have another 5% cushion available with you in case company pays more for some in the form of joining bonus or some retention bonus or performance bonus or retention, anything. So that will still remain within the bucket of 50%. So that's how we can remain constant without any changes in our salary structure. And at the same time, we will remain, compliant with the labor codes, income tax, as well as the, industry best practices. I hope that question, the special allowance, is addressed. Okay, now code on social security. This consists of 9 laws. Gaurav.
Yeah. So, Social Security Act has included PF, ESIC, maternity, BOCW, payment of gratuity, employment exchange, senior workers welfare fund, unorganized workers social security act, and employee compensation act. So these are the 9 acts which are put together in Social Security Act. And the major changes, meaning again, as I said, that it's a Pandora box, there's a lot of in it. So, but major changes which are going to impact us on day-to-day basis will be in PF. If we see, PF has been applicable on any establishment which has got 20 or more, and we could take voluntary registration anyhow. But now, in a case of hazardous or life-threatening occupation or industry, even if you have one employee, you will have to take PF registration. Before labor code, it was voluntary. Now, still it is voluntary for other sectors, but for a company in hazardous or life-threatening occupation, it is mandatory. And limitation period for 5 years for initiation and 2 years for concluding the inquiry. Okay, that's a good news for industry. We whenever a PF inspection comes, we were all in jittery that they can ask for any document. Still, either the inception of the organization or maybe the last inspection which has happened. But now, like ESIC, it will be limited to last 5 years only. Then increased penalty from 10K. Yes, it's a threat to employers, but yes, there has to be a stick also. So penalties have increased from 10K to 1 lakh, imprisonment from 1 to 3. As a consultant, I often meet a lot of promoters also. So this clause always has a threatening aspect to promoters, especially. May not be for HR professional per se, but promoters, if there is there a penalty of imprisonment. So yes, it has increased from 1 year to 3 years. Subsequent failure to pay contribution, it can go up to 5 years. Then ESIC, yes, there is a change. applicable to all establishment, including mines, meaning voluntary registration allowed, even less headcounts with employer and employees concerned. Now, ESIC, what has happened again? Mines, factory, hazardous, you have to go for even one. But any other organization, now till now, what was there, that any organization has willing to take ESIC registration will have to have at least 10 employees. Now you can go for voluntary registration, which was not available before. And gig workers will also be added in ESIC, but there is a mechanism which the government has to come with. Plus ESIC, one thing to note here is that we have got certain exclusions like HRA and conveyance, which are commonly used in our compensation structure. So somebody's salary, if somebody's salary is 25,000, for example, and he is out of ESIC as per the ESIC Act. However, after labor codes have been implemented from 21st November, somebody having HRA component of, let's say, 5,000 out of the 25,000 gross salary, if he was taking, then his wages, gross salary is still 25K, but his wages is now 20K. That means he will be covered under ESIC. So that's a major change. The ESIC will have more coverage. And interestingly, there are many departments which are coming under the purview of this Labor Act. But ESIC is one department which has started talking about it, sending notifications, not notices, and communications also to employers that, look, labor code has reduced or has defined wages differently now, and if your employees are now coverable, please get them covered ASAP. And they are taking 21st November as the date of implementation. They are not waiting for any rules to come.
So that's an interesting part. Most of the employees, their cost on the employer will definitely increase in the form of ESI contribution, employer contribution.
Yeah.
Similarly, this will also impact on the bonus part also. We'll talk about the next part. So both of the acts have the similar ceiling of 21,000. The people who are drawing 21,000 wages, they will fall under the ESI, they will fall under the payment of bonus act. And accordingly, the employer has to ensure the compliance in the form of paying the contribution or the payment as provision. Now the next is Maternity Benefit Act.
Ravinder, just before you move ahead, just one quick question that I want to post here. And I want to let audience know that, keep posting your questions. We'll be answering, we'll be taking your questions once we finish this presentation. But right now, I'm going to take one question because that was regarding the gig workers that you spoke about right now. So who will pay and how ESIC for gig workers?
Okay, so when I talked about gig worker, I quickly said that there is a mechanism which is going to be in place as per the codes. The platform owners, for example, gig workers are working in Zomato, Swiggy, organization like this. These are the platform owners, and the government has said that they will create a fund for it, and the platform owners will give 1 to 2%. Again, it will be given the rules, but 1 to 2% of their total turnover will go to this fund, and mechanism of how that fund will be used for ESIC or PF or other benefits which are to be given to gig workers will come in those rules. However, money would be coming from platform owners, and a fund will be created, and that government will tell that how that fund is going to be used.
Thank you, Gaurav, for answering that.
Yeah.
Again, just giving this to our audience that your question will be answered. We'll be taking your questions once we finish this presentation, so don't get worried. And also, this recording will be available, so you can have a look at all the discussions that are having later on as well. So back to you, Gaurav.
Yeah, and I'll add, Vibha, that even if we cannot answer the question in this presentation because of the paucity of time, we will answer it on LinkedIn. So
That
don't worry
would
on the. Yeah.
That will be great. So every comment, every question that you're asking through your comments will be answered by our experts once the session gets over.
Yeah. So we will try to finish it soon because I see the time ticking. Maternity Benefit Act. No, today the ceiling is 10 employees working in any organization. Shops, it will remain same. However, in case of factory, mine, plantation, even if the number of employees is less than 10, Maternity Benefit Act would come into picture. The Gratuity Act, it will be paid to an employee employed on fixed term employment on pro rata basis. Manufacturing process, manufacturing process, I'll come later, but payment of gratuity, lot of talk going along and lot of questions, lot of gyan on WhatsApp University coming on this. See, it is as simple as that. Gratuity Act, there is a eligibility criteria. The eligibility criteria is 5 years of continuous service. Now, there were two exclusions before the labor code came into being. One was death, second was permanent disablement. In those two aspects, a person would get gratuity even before completing 5 years of continuous service. Government has done nothing but added one exclusion here, that is fixed term employment. Now, fixed term employment, if it is the employment says that your employment is going to be of 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, you will not be excluded from the benefit of gratuity just because you have not completed 5 years. So whatever number of years you have worked in terms of fixed term employment, you will be paid gratuity on prorated basis. It doesn't say it is for 1 year, 2 year, it is on prorated basis. Secondly, so just to understand, if the fixed term employment has ended before the contract time because the person resigned, then it will not be paid. That because the code says on expiry of fixed term employment, that agreement has to expire, then and only then that person will be eligible for gratuity. We have to now move forward a little faster because I would like to finish it in next 5-7 minutes so that we can have more questions. Then home-based workers, gig workers, platform workers, these are new definitions which have been added. It was never in labor codes, but home-based worker, gig workers and platform workers will also come into the purview of labor code just for the welfare. See, for employers, it can be additional cost, but for larger amount of employees, there will be a lot of welfare which will be available to gig workers. Then important is contribution from aggregator. Yes, I have already told.
And creation of national security board for unorganized sectors, like including gig workers, platform workers. The government is coming up with the creating the social security boards for these employees, wherein they will ensure those benefits passed on to them, like labor welfare fund, right? So there are certain things. BOCW's Act is there, building and other construction workers. So there are certain contribution is taken from their employers, and that is facilitated to the employees or their families in the form of providing some scholarships, marriage donation, marriage one-time help, or in the form of bicycles to the laborers or books, etc., etc. Right. So next is Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code 20. So this act covers 13 acts, 13 laws, including factories, mines, dock workers, building other workers I was referring, Plantation Labor Act, contract labor mostly used, then interstate migrant workmen, ISMW we say in short, working journalists and newspaper employees, working journalists, fixation of rates of wages, then motor transport workers, sales promotion, BD and cigar workers and cine workers. Like these all 13, they have been subsumed in the Occupational Safety, Health and Working Condition 2020. So major changes under this act are basically this code provides a single registration, single, instead of multiple registration we used to take under the current prevailing system, which has been removed now. So this will definitely be a welcome move to in the form, for ease of doing business. It is a lot of relax for the employers also. Then appointment letter, they made it statutory because most of the fixed term or the workers, they were never these appointment letters. So they have made it a mandatory now. That is backed by the law. Then working hours, they were given a flexibility then to work, have a shift of 12 hours a day, but they remain the cap maximum 48 hours in a week. Similarly, they allowed working hours for women during night shifts 7 to 6, but with a prior consent. Employer has to provide safety security measures with transportation facility to ensure there is, the people, the women, they are safe while they work. Contract labor, the definition has been modified. It includes interstate migrant worker also, but excluded the part-time employee. While we very frequently use the contract labor, the core activity, it is, the law prohibits employing contract labor in the core business, right? So they have defined that core activity, the establishment setup, other housekeeping, security, canteen, they are not to be treated as a core activity. They have given more clarity basically here.
Okay, so I just idea that yes, 12 hours shift is allowed now, but the cap weekly cap is still 48 hours. So and you if you want your workers to work for 12 hours in a day, then you will have to give them 4 days week only. And the core activity which Ravinder was talking. So core activity means that the business you are in. For example, if you are a security company, you are providing security cards, then you will have those security cards on your own rules. You cannot have contract labor as security guard because you are a security company. At the same time, some company is manufacturing setup. They are having a manufacturing line, assembly line. Person working on assembly line on the machine has to be on road employee. Not because that is the core activity of that organization. However, for that organization, security person can be a contractual worker. So overtime, yes, overtime shall be paid twice. There is no change in it. However, 48 hours limit is still there. Yeah. So the last one is Code on Industrial Relation, 3 acts, Industrial Employment Standing Order, then ID Act and Trade Unions Act. They have been put together in one code. Fixed term employment, the code provides that the fixed term employment will get a statutory benefit like PF, ESIC, that bonus, wages, every benefit they will get as a normal employee. So the lure of getting fixed term employees in an organization will be lessened now. Employer why will employer take a fixed term employee? Because unless it is a particular work of a fixed nature or fixed term nature only, then of course they will go for it. Otherwise, the lure is ending now. Then establishment with less than 300 workmen can lay off, retrench, close without government approval. So you will save the hassle of taking a permission from DLC or ALC's office, Labor Commission office, so that hassles would be less. Similarly, employee can raise an industrial dispute with the employer within the time frame of 2 years now instead of 3 years, which was allowed. One thing which I must say it's good for employees who are going to be retrenched. So an employer will, if it is the employer is going to retrench employees, then will have to submit a sum of rupee, which will go to a reskilling fund. It's a new fund being created. It will be equivalent to 15 days of salary of the person being retrenched. And the number of members in the grievance redressal committee, it was 6. Now it is increased to 10. And whatever number of women are working, the same proportion will have to be in the grievance handling committee also.
The presentation.
Yeah.
So interestingly, FT, I'll just add one, in the core business, like Gauravji was mentioning, for an industry they are operating, they have a fixed project, they should hire the fixed term. Government has given a flexibility while appointing the fixed term. They regularize this. Earlier, this was not a formalized thing. They regularize it, but at the same time, they have capped with that all the benefits, whatever admissible to regular or permanent employees, those should also be admissible to the fixed term employees. Here, the quick one and the crux of the entire presentation, I would say, the probable financial implication. So we try to put a lot of brainstorming here, and then we could make out how these codes are going to impact financially to the employer or employee in the way round. Okay, so PF we would be definitely impacting. Largely, there is no impact in the PF if people are contributing more than up to 15,000 or a statutory limit.
Yeah.
If they are contributing more than 15,000, again there is no impact. But only impact will happen because the minimum wage, earlier they were having a component HRA. Now HRA is no more in the wages definition. Then entire minimum wage will form as part of wages, and if the wages are less than 15,000, the entire amount has to be taken for the PF, which was earlier not happening. So PF contribution will increase over here. I mentioned earlier, ESI and bonus both are having 21,000 the wage ceiling earlier, including HRA. ESI doesn't have the convents, but statutory bonus that has the convents also. So people who are drawing a marginal 24,000 rupees, they are likely to fall back in the ESI coverage, and their contribution on employer will increase in the form of ESI contribution as well as bonus, which will qualify around 1 month salary equivalent to minimum wage. Then gratuity, yes, definition, calculation. Basically, earlier it was basic salary, and now it is purely wages. Then obviously the cost is likely to increase, and by adding the fixed term employees, this will also be paid to the fixed term employees. Leave encashment will also increase over time. I believe if people are paying double the wages, now the wages will be reduced by excluding HRA or convents, then the impact is likely to be lesser in case they are paying double. If they are paying some fixed rate, which is not as per provision, then definitely cost will be more. Another important part is annual health checkup. For the people who are more than 40 years of age, they are recommended to be provided this benefit on the cost of the employer. So employer has to ensure that every year these people's their annual health checkup is done by the organization. The modalities will appear what all checks had to be done on a monthly basis or annual basis, right? The cost is likely to increase where while we are saying that women will be allowed to work in the night shift, then employer has to ensure safety, security, transportation facilities. Those facilities definitely will come up with the cost. So those costs will impact. Crèche, government has again infused this. Though the Maternity Benefit Amendment Act was notified in 2017, but now they have reinforced crèche facilities to be provided to all the employers having 50 or more workers. And lastly, as Gauravji was saying, workers reskilling fund. In the case of retrenchment, the employer has to contribute another 15 days average salary for every year of completed services. That will another cost, which is likely to increase. And of course, if we fail to comply with this, the incremental cost is there in the form of penalties. So what is the action point by all HRs? Right. So importantly, let's identify employment categories, whether fixed term, full time, or permanent or regular or casual. We need to identify those employees so that we can align with our business requirement and we can hire the right appropriate people. Then we need to review the contracts and agreements like appointment letters. Those have to be even contracts with our clients. We need to build those costs which we are incurring by way of new law. So we have to negotiate. Employees' compensation and benefits, salaries, we have to review these structures and align with the law, not only the labor law, income tax laws also. And at the same time, you remain competitive in the market. So align with the industry also. Then how you are going to monitor it internally? There should be policy documents, HR policies. These needs to be amended, aligned with the laws. Then my HRMS system, my calculation, the salary, payroll, and everything is being run by system. So then those configuration again needs to be changed according to the new law. Now ESI is contributing on HRA also as on date. By next month we have to exclude that, so that ESI component is rightly picked by the system and calculated, right? Then obviously the compliances. Advent can facilitate any support needed. We are there to provide the support of doing the complete assessment, analyzing current structures, and providing a fair assessment so that employer can take a call what way they are more competitive. At the same time, they remain cost effective also. Thank you. Now questions are welcome.
This is a thanks for the presentation. We are open for questions now.
Thank you, Ravindra and Gauravji, for such insightful and practical presentation. I would say this is very important to understand, and I think I have a lot of questions. We have been receiving a lot of questions from past few days since the time we said that we are going to have a webinar, but there are so many questions and we have 30 minutes, not 30, 28 minutes to be precise. And we'll take the questions. So I'll move on with the questions now. And the first question is here. What will be the wages on ESIC would be deducted, either basic or up to 21K or gross wages of 21K? This is from Mayank.
Okay. So Mayank, see, as we said, the initial, just before this labor code came, the basic definition of wages was gross wages for ESIC. Now it is wages. It is standard for all. So for ESIC also, we will take only wages. The limit of 21,000 remains same. There is no change in the limit. Similarly, as similar to PF, the limit of statutory limit of PF is 15,000. ESIC is still 21,000. However, the only change what has happened that instead of gross wages, we will be taking wages. Wages would mean there will be no inclusion of HRA, conveyance, or other exclusions which we have told. So there are 9 exclusions which we spoke about. So these 9 exclusions will have to be shunted out, and the remaining part will remain as wages. We have said HRA and conveyance because these are popularly used. So you will have to check out HRA, you will have to check out conveyance, and thereafter you can whatever remains as wages will be treated as the eligibility for ESIC coverage. The limit remains 21,000 as of now. I'm not sure tomorrow or Monday there is another notification which comes up, because people have been talking about increase of this limit, but it is for more than a year now.
Thank you, Gaurav. And I hope, Mayank, that answers your question. The next question is when we refer to continuous 5 years of service, what if an employee is on sabbatical paid leave for a period of 3 months? Could we reduce this 3 months from the tenuity?
So see, it says 5 years continuous service, and when it says continuous service, any day and every day for which the organization has paid or the person has proceeded for a paid leave. It will include the maternity leave also. It will include your casual leave. If the sabbatical leave as per, because legally you need not to give a sabbatical leave as a paid leave. However, if it is the part of the policy of the organization, then in that case, any day for which the organization has paid will be included in the calculation of continuous service.
Absolutely.
Now, what is the meaning of the year? So normally, I was seeing in the group also, there was a question going around of having the 240 days or 241 days or 250 days or 190 days. So see, as per the Gratuity Act, which yet has not been repealed, it is 4 years, it is 5 years. However, the definition of year is 240 days. For any normal organization, it is 240 days, or any organization which is working for 6 days a week. Any organization working less than 6 days a week, it is 190 days. Or if you go to mines, there is a change where 240 days will be replaced by 190 days. However, for any normal organization, it is 240 days. That means if somebody has worked for 4 years continuous plus 240 days, it will be considered that the 5 years eligibility is complete.
Absolutely.
Thank you for answering
90
that.
days
Gaurav.
is for only for those organizations where they operate 5 days a week.
Or less. 5 years, or maybe some organization might be working for 4 days. Then they will ask, is it less than 190? In our case, no. 6 days, 240 days. Any number of days less than 6, 190 days.
Great. We have next question from CA Rajat Jain, and he asks, what is the definition of retaining allowance? Does it include city compensatory allowance, children education allowance, and driver allowance?
Okay, so retaining allowance is actually the act has not so pretty well elaborated on it. However, retaining allowance is again there have been few questions and discussion around it. Maybe an allowance to retain somebody. I can and put a number there that it will be retaining. No, retaining allowance is for seasonal industries. For example, sugarcane industries, wherein people work for 6 7 months or 7 8 months during the entire year. Rest 4 5 months for which they are not working because they need very less manpower just for maintenance of the plant. So during those 4 5 months, there is an amount which is paid to those employees who are not coming to office on daily basis. That is called a retaining allowance. And retaining allowance is governed by, meaning that there is a wage board for them, sugar wage board or things like that. So city compensatory allowance, children education allowance, driver allowance, it is nothing to do with retaining allowance. Retaining allowance is specifically for seasonal industry, and it is driven by for sugar, it is sugar board or any wage board for that matter, which the government, state government or central government can form.
Thank
I
you,
hope I
Gaurav.
answered this good. Yeah.
There is one more question which is very close to every HR person, because there is a law now that you have to close FNF in 2 days. So Shwet asked that on the fourth and final part, how can we take care of any recovery that has to be made from the employee if his entire wages are paid to him in 2 days? What if an employee is just 2 months, like not even completed 6 months? So how do they manage here?
Okay. So see, there has to be a reorientation of HR process. That's it I can say, because see, in case of termination, as if we were required to do in 2 days, now we will be required to do in any other case also. Now what we can do, as this particular act says, that you need to pay wages within 2 days. Now if it is a normal resignation which has been added, so the person must be in your organization for a few days before the last date. You have to initiate the NOC process little earlier than we used to do it. Normally, we are going for NOC process in last 2-3 days. Now we can initiate at maybe 10 days before the last day of exit. Meaning, if we know the date of exit, we will have to initiate it 10 days before. Maybe last 2 days, you can just ask him to go around the organization and whistle. No need to work, so that we can be complied.
I think these are the situations wherein employees do not
operational hassles.
Yeah. So that's a problem area that every HR faces, and I think
We
just
have
getting
to
in touch
make
with
the
them.
employee as party also. We have to make the employee also, party to it, and the responsibility should remain on his shoulders rather than HR is running around. So let the employee be held responsible to ensure that he submits the clearance in the last day itself. All aspects completed. Once it is handed over to us, then definitely as an HR we can proceed with all the full and final settlement.
Acha, there's one silver lining also. The code says that state government can either 2 days, or state government can define any time for that. So maybe some state government raises to the concern of employers and says no, not 2 days. You can take 7 days. You can take 10 days. So it will depend on the rules of a particular state. However, Act says 2 days.
Sure.
The code says right. Yeah.
We have another question from Rohit, and he asks, what about if organization pay any incentive that is more than 50% of his or her monthly net salary?
It will be added back to the wages. As simple as that. So see, anything which is over and above 50% of the exclusions which have been defined, it will be added back to the wages. So, and what is the impact to that? Whenever you're going to pay on leave encashment or bonus, so maybe the kind of employee he's talking about may not be covered under the statutory bonus, but bonus, or for that matter gratuity. So in those areas, then you will have to take account of that wages. So incentive can be anywhere, but if it is going beyond the 50% of the exclusion, it will be added back to wages.
Kauravji, we have a follow-up question for you. If wages are termed as basic, DA, retaining allowance, how could we calculate the retaining allowance? Also, in now the era of CTC, concepts prevail more. What are the thumb rules to determine wages while computing CTC? Please suggest.
See, retaining allowance in a normal industry, as I say, it is it's a word or nomenclature which is used in seasonal industries only. So in normally, meaning I have worked for almost 25 years, I never got retaining allowance, or I never paid retaining allowance, because I never worked for any industry which is seasonal industry. So retaining allowance will not be added in a normal compensation structure for that matter.
So
We have a question from.
emerge during this process. So in the coming days, probably, since cost was there, cost to the company, CTC. Now it will come as a remuneration to the company, RTC. So we can use that also.
Gaurav asked that what is the minimum wage ceiling?
So, okay, Gaurav asked Gaurav. Okay, great. So minimum wage ceiling is, as said in the codes, the central government will come up with national floor wage. Now, what we hear from different platforms, and when I say platforms, meaning platforms where policies are decided. So what we hear from those platforms, that national floor wages will be divided into zones, meaning the entire India will be divided into 4 5 zones. This is what we hear. There's nothing, no notification around it, and the central government will notify a floor wage for that particular zone, and the states falling under that particular zone, they will have to follow that national floor wage or that zonal floor wage, and that particular state cannot give a minimum wages
Less than.
below than or less than that floor wage. They can give it more than that.
So that is determined state-wise, right?
That will be determined state-wise. However, it cannot be below than the national floor wage. For example,
Sure.
if we talk about NCR, there is a disparity. You go to Noida, there is a minimum wage, different minimum wage. You go to Delhi, minimum wage is different. Go to Rajasthan, it is pretty less. Haryana, it is different. So
Yeah.
when we have a national floor wage, state will not have a particular standard of minimum wage. Below that, they will not be allowed,
Sure.
and that
I have-
is yet to be notified. So as of today, we will be following the minimum wages, which is already there.
So
Sorry.
right now we are following the existing wages, and then once it is announced, we'll have new wages state-wise. Right.
Right.
All right. My next question is from Sanjukta, and she says that I'm from IT industry, and sometimes people works on project till the end. They return company assets after a couple of weeks if they work remotely. In this case, what should we do?
Okay, so she wants to say that full and final settlement has to be done within 2 days, and then assets are yet to come. That's see, there's nothing written in the law for this, because law says you have to do your, again, FNF is a corporate word that we are using. They are saying you need to pay the wages. So maybe you can pay the wages only. Rest of the allowances, incentives, other exclusions which are yet to be paid, you can hold on to them till the assets are returned. That's a practical solution I am telling. There is nothing written in law as of now on this. Or maybe if some state comes up with the rules which can define it more or define it better, then there will be operational solution to it. However, the solution which I am giving is that you can, whatever exclusions you are having in your structure, you can hold on to them, and and you can write a mail to that the total calculation of exclusions or whatever is payable to you is this. However, it will be released after your NOC has been completed, but wages, whatever is the portion of the wages, has to be paid within 2 days.
Gaurav, one question that is very frequently asked is, how do people like define what is fixed term employees? Who all fall under fixed term employee?
Okay, so
And then gratuity.
any person who has been given an employment letter where the opening date and the closing date is fixed. For example, let us say I have a project, and for that project, or I'll give a very live example for that matter. A woman goes for maternity. Now, law says you have to give that woman 6 months leave, 26 weeks leave. Now, you have no backup in your organization. So, to take care of those 6 months work, you hire another person for 6 months. That is fixed term. So, for those 6 months, you release an employment letter saying that your services start from, let's say, 1st of July to 31st December. So this is fixed term employment, and a regular employment is how it is different. It is there that you do not write an end date. You just write that the retirement age is this and this, 58, 60, 65, whatever is the retirement age in your organization, that you will be retiring when you attain this age. However, in a fixed term employment, there is an end date, exit date, depending upon the tenure, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. And gratuity, because I can see the gratuity question also. So in fixed term, there will be a prorated gratuity that shall be payable. So a regular employee, if he leaves your organization in 3 years, will not be eligible for gratuity. However, a fixed term employee, if he leaves in after 3 years of employment, which was for 3 years, will be eligible for gratuity prorated basis.
Thank you. There is one common question which is in everybody's mind. When will the new labor codes be implemented, and do organizations need to wait for state level notification before adopting them?
Okay.
Gaurav, yeah.
All right. So actually, the codes, if we say that codes are already implemented, laws has already been enforced effective 21st November 25. Only the rules are expected to come. Rules basically, if you understand the process of law, first the law is enforced. Those law, after implementation of those law, then the rules come, which defines the administration, how to maintain those forms, or in what forms is that to be reported, and what is the returns type, what is the frequency. Those things, those rules are defined later on. So ideally the law has already been implemented. Only the rules will come. They will define the modalities, how to maintain, and when to report, and in what format it is to be reported. That's it. Law has already been implemented.
Yeah, and I will add that, for example, I gave while I was talking about ESIC, that they have already started implementing it.
Yes.
So the act is in place 21st November 2025. However, we will only wait for rules for implementation of, let's say, registration. For example, they have said there will be unified registration, but the process of unified registration is not yet out. So we will not be able to do unified registration. So we will continue doing whatever registration is required to be done as of today. Minimum wages, they have said that it is going to be labor national floor wages. But unless the national floor wages is notified, how will we follow? So we will follow Minimum Wages Act, which is already there.
Exactly.
So to answer the question again, the act is already there from 21st November 2025. Do not wait for these rules to be notified and wait for it is like a law has been made to challan you, but the challan book is not there. So you cannot wait for challan book to come. Rule is already there.
Yeah.
It is already implemented.
Great. Now, my next question is very interesting one, not only for employers and HRs, but for employees as well. And the question is, what are the rules on minimum paid leaves, leave carry forward, capping, and mandatory leave encashment under the new labor codes?
So it's see, we live in a federal structure. There's a central government, there are state rules. The leave, paid leave, earned leave. So normally Factory Act said for every 20 days work you earn a leave. Similarly, many state acts says 20 days. They follow the same. But there are states which says there has to be 15 earned leave only. Similarly, for accumulation also there are different rules. So it is state-wise. Delhi can have a different rule as per Haryana or Uttar Pradesh of Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh. So it is a state affair. State rules will prevail because in entire codes, 4 codes, Shops and Commercial Establishment Act is not part. And your leaves, your earned leaves are being governed by Shops and Commercial Establishment Act. The number of leaves, minimum paid leaves, as well as the carry forward rules, they are being monitored by the state governments. However, leave encashment will be done on wages now.
Encashment will change.
Encashment will be done on wages. the definition we have been talking about.
Okay. We are just 6 minutes left. So, quick question. What are the key implementation challenges at blind spots organization should be prepared for?
Oh, again, this will come on. Right now, we can talk about it on the platform. However, slowly and gradually, when we these acts or these codes unfolds in terms of operational level, then we will understand the blind spots. Uh, However, what are the implementation meaning the biggest challenge is the full and final settlement that we have been talking about. The 2 days of operational challenge which is going to happen. Then for women working in night, yes, it is going to be a challenge because what they have done is that they have chucked down the meaning the permission which a person has to an employer has to take from the labor office to allow women working in the organization. So there was some states they have allowed women to work in night shift. However, permission was required. After labor code, permission will not be required. So your employer will say employ women in the night, but at the same time safety issues are to be handled, and this it is going to be a challenge for HR professionals because the management will say abhi to law aa gaya, why don't you ask women to come in night shift? But there are stringent laws for safety and security, and as HR professionals personally also we need to maintain that, but there is a cost involved in that. Are
Yeah.
our management allowing that cost or budgets for that? That's a big question. So that's a operational hassle or maybe a blind spot, but it will unfold slowly and gradually when we actually implement them.
Okay. And one last question before we end the session.
Yeah.
Bhavendra Kumar Jha asked that, how about schools? Will they also be bound by all the rules?
Yes, actually, the application of these labor codes, there are certain parts of labor codes which are applicable. So, meaning acts which were applicable to schools, they will continue doing that. But schools are governed by CBSC and UGC, meaning universities by UGC and schools by CBSC rules and CRT rules. They will continue to do it. So there is no change. All old acts will be applicable in the form of labor code. So as far as labor codes are concerned, they have not talked anything about schools or no changes in the implications of labor laws as far as the schools are concerned. It will remain static.
Great.
PSI, these things are already been implemented in the schools, so they will not be excluded
Impacted.
in any case. So this will remain same. Leave encashment they also have to follow. The wages definition also they have to follow. Same thing.
Great. I think this has been a very informative session, and I've been reading through the comments that people are finding it really informative. I know there are a lot of questions, a lot of things that you want to ask. We'll try to answer all through the comments also. Recording of this session will be available after this also, and we'll share it in the group as well. But in case if you need a follow-up session like this again, please comment. The more comment we receive, we'll organize for one more follow-up session with Gaurav and Ravinder, so that you can come up with more questions, and the questions that we were not able to cover in today's session, we'll cover all those questions. So I need a lot of comments from you if you want a follow-up session on this. All right, and with that, as we come to the close of today's webinar, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our speaker, Mr. Ravinder Singh and Mr. Gaurav Chaturvedi, for sharing their deep knowledge and making this conversation so meaningful. And a big thank you to all our participants for your time, your engagement, and so many thoughtful questions. We hope today's session helped clarify many aspects of the new labor laws and provided you the right and practical direction to implement in your organization. Thank you once again. We'll look forward to your comments to have a follow-up session. That's from our side. Thank you very much. And on the
Thanks, Vibha. Thanks, Negiji, for organizing this. Thank you so
on
much.
the
Thanks, all.
side, we are also seeing Manan has put a scanner there. So if you like this session, we would like to scan this barcode and share a Google review with us. It really means a lot and keeps us motivated too. Thank you. Have a great evening ahead.
Thanks all.